Live from the Preston Highway Studios, it's 24-hour Purple People. And now here's your host, John Harper.
Well, hello and welcome back to 24-hour Purple People. My name is John Harper, and I'm absolutely thrilled to have you along for the ride today as we are currently on Cloud 9 as Louisville City just pulled off a 2-0 win at Loudoun United just moments ago. Breaking news, if you will. Well, you were probably watching, so it's probably not breaking news to you. But as I said, very happy to have you tonight as we are all set for another round of discussion with my two panelists, two dear friends. I'm going to introduce these guys one at a time because that's what I normally do. I'm first going to start with Glenn. Glenn Grum, hello. Say hello to the people out there tonight.
Hi, people out there. Oh, that's Matt. That's not me. That's me. Hey. I'm glad to be here again. Hopefully I'll get to sing some really terrible songs for you and really poorly. That's my goal. And to know very little about soccer and basically just talk shit.
There you have it. My second panelist is wearing a very fun shirt this evening. Matt
This is my
Dalton.
victory shirt.
The victory shirt is being worn. Matt, say hello to the folks.
This is my 3-point shirt. And Glenn, I'm going to be happy to assist you with your singing because I guarantee I'm going to say fuck at some point. So probably going to get that ready. Yeah, that's for you, buddy.
Yeah, I can't yellow card these guys just yet. Sorry about that. If you
found a loophole.
If you have not watched 24-hour Purple People as of yet, we are glad to have you for your first episode. This is our 7th. If you have not watched, though, the rules to this program as are follows. My panelists, if they get a little out of line, they might receive a yellow card. 2 yellow cards equals a red card, and during that red card, they will be on mute for 60 seconds. They cannot join the conversation. That will allow the other panelists to sing a song, say a poem, or whatever they want to do as long as it is approved by the governing body of 24-hour Purple People. So, yes.
Who's on that governing body?
I'm not really sure, to be honest with you.
Were they elected?
They were not.
I tried to petition them about my red card last week, and no one responded to my email. So
yeah, this is a dictatorship. So speaking of which, main show cam, here we go. Oh, Glenn's right in the middle.
Oh, look, it's me. Ah!
Now, one thing that does happen time to time is Glenn will get right in the middle of the action on some of these episodes. So
literally.
Speaking of action, as I open the show with, it's really skipping categories here. We started the evening at 4 p.m. in Leesburg, Virginia, as we learned last week, the location of Loudoun United. A capacity crowd at the stadium in Loudoun for the game. As I said, a lot of energy coming into this episode as we did pull off the win. Another clean sheet for Kyle Morton. Matt, I will start with you since you are dancing about. Tell me what you saw out there from City tonight.
I'm just so excited, John. I can't help it. I can't contain myself. The first thing I noticed was a welcome addition back to the starting lineup after missing some time with an injury. Mr. Tyler Gibson returns to the 11.
Yeah.
Great. Niall McCabe was the only midfielder on the bench, so I was kind of looking for that starting 5 to play basically all 90, and they did that for the most part. Really missed Gibson's ability to roam in the middle and kind of close out quickly to start or restart an attack. It's been sorely missed. We started off well, I would say so, with a 4th-minute goal from Wilson Harris off a Jorge Gonzalez pass after Loudoun gave it away in their own half. Loudoun looked very overwhelmed for most of the night, really. Not really able to get it out of their own half for significant portions of the first 45. Harris played a great game. His poise in the box is what makes him so deadly. He doesn't overthink his strikes. He doesn't worry about being flashy because he's got the substance to back it up, baby. The substance to show up on that stat page. Instead, he just puts his head down and he sends it home. But he's also a guy who wants to take that shot, right? And that's a luxury for any team. Especially us, when at times we have kind of lacked that outside of Cam in previous seasons. And he also had a textbook cross body block in the 33rd minute. So good form on that, Wilson.
That was really
fantastic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was good for him. Glenn, when you watched this game only moments ago, Coach Cruz has really put the emphasis on closing out strong, closing out the first half strong, closing out the second half strong. Do you think that Louisville City is executing that to Coach's satisfaction at this point?
I mean, we ended with the shutout, so we're doing something right. I mean, right? That's last season. We had issues with the last 5 minutes of the halves, either half, with goals trickling in and there being defensive lapses. I feel like we are putting the pressure on and we're keeping the pressure on and we're continuing the attack too. We're not so I feel like we used to kind of fall back into a shell and kind of try to absorb a lot of pressure. We are continuing to attack, it feels like, even after we have a lead, which is awesome. And I agree with Matt, Harris plays amazing and he's not afraid to take a shot from just about anywhere. And that goes great with Ownby and Gonzalez feeding that ball into him. He plays really well. And the fact that we just continue that pressure, and I was surprised to see Dia go out because I thought he was playing really well on the wing out there. But I understand, we have a lot of matches coming up here in the future. So there's going to be a lot of tired legs possibly coming up here very soon when we start playing, midweek games for the Open Cup. So I understand why he brought in Toch to kind of give Dia the rest of the night off. But we still, even after Dia came on, or after Toch came on, we still played very well, I thought. And hopefully
Dia came off from injury, though.
Was he hurt?
I think he, a little bit of a knock, limping a little bit.
Oh, I didn't notice.
To your point,
hurt.
Glenn, man, we were pressing well into the 80th minute and beyond, and taking our foot off the gas was something last year that was a huge pet peeve of mine. Really sinking back, like you said, but we were pressing well into the end. We were really looking for that third goal, and we came pretty close a couple times. So
Brian Ownby has been looking tremendous. That chip shot he had, I would say best looking goal of the season. I would rank it up there in one of the career highlights for Ownby, and everybody kind of stood around, possibly an offsides, missed on that one, Matt. Not really sure, but as we talk about this intensity that Louisville City has had, you see a defense that I believe could rival, if not already is, some of the best defensive play in Louisville City history. Matt, what do you think?
For sure. And as far as that offsides goes, he might have been offsides, sure. But our cheap-ass league doesn't have the capability to check that. So who cares?
Play to the whistle anyway, right? You don't stop playing.
You got to play to the whistle, man.
Whistle.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But yeah, it's what really impresses me is our ability to gather on transition and really get bodies in front of the ball after they play on the counter. It's really, really good to see that Winder in the middle. I mean, we talked about it in the group chat, man. He gets beat up almost every match, but he sticks with it and he makes the plays that he needs to. Tyler Gibson again, dropping back our holding mid, plays really well in that position. I think we had a big upswing in production from that spot. Really good shit. Just really good shit out there.
Yeah, Winder had a horrible call on him in the 28th minute. I don't know if either of you guys caught it, but it was just absolutely terrible. Card. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and a yellow card to boot. Yeah, absolutely terrible. There were several calls that I felt were pretty harsh, and 5 yellows, Glenn. Is this just Louisville City playing a more aggressive style right now, or are these refs just kind of out to get us here in the early going of the season?
Man, I don't want to be all paranoid or anything, but that did seem like a lot of cards. And was anyone else really nervous when Toch fouled the guy and he pulled out the card when Toch was walking away because he was already on a yellow? I had no idea who was even getting a yellow at that point. I was like, oh gosh. He yells out the yellow as Toch was walking away. Luckily, it was Gibson that got the yellow, which I mean,
yeah, Toch just kind of. Toch was like, "See you later."
Yeah, he definitely
walk away. Didn't see anything.
I don't know. It seems like we do get quite a few cards. I don't know if we're playing more physical style of ball or what's going on there, but we are definitely getting our fair share of cards for sure. And
a whole team of Paco Craigs,
right?
Yeah, we have.
We're going to be on yellow accumulation.
Yeah, right. How does that work? We're gonna have to suit up right at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's been a lot of yellows for City this season. Let's hope that does not come back and bite us. But that being said, just tremendous depth. When you're bringing Enoch off the bench in the second half, it's just like, how stacked is this team? And very, very great start, as the episode title is called, a pretty good start for Louisville City. And again, Kyle Morton, I mean, it's a two-way thing here. 0 goals given up, or 1 goal given up this season so far. But when you look at Kyle Morton, he hasn't even he hasn't put that much effort in it. 2 shots tonight. Total.
Yeah, 2 shots and only 1 on target.
Unbelievable. So Louisville City really looking good. And they looked pretty good, especially defensively, on Wednesday evening at Lynn Family Stadium as the U.S. Open Cup was back in Louisville, and the Red Wolves of Chattanooga came to town to face Louisville City in our first round. I know it's not actually the first round, second round action of the U.S. Open Cup. Glenn, when you look at this U.S. Open Cup, which starter from Louisville City impressed you the most? We talked about maybe a different lineup coming into this game. Who'd you like out there in that 1-0 win?
I thought Linus played awesome. Like, he blew my mind. I mean, to think we have that much depth at that position, like on the wings, like I was really, really impressed. And we kind of exploited that wing in the first half of that match. We kept attacking that. I think that Mushagalusa actually ended up on that side with him, playing on that side in around the 10 to 15th minute, and played over there for about 10 to 15 minutes and then switched back to the other side. It was pretty awesome to watch him play, I thought. I'm very impressed with his play. It's nice to see that we did rotate it. Soler got into the game. Mogul also started. So it was pretty good to see some of our younger guys get the start and really show off and play well. I think we played decent after the first 3 to 5 minutes. I felt like we had to kind of figure out the Red Wolves a little bit. I don't know if we were prepared for how strong their attack actually was and how much they wanted to possess the ball in the beginning of that game. But once we got them figured out, I thought we played really well. And like I said, I definitely I'm a big fan of Linus. I think that he's going to be pretty great going down the road here. And eventually, when it's his time to step up, I think we're in good shape on that side of the ball, at least. So.
These highlights you're seeing now at the very end there, after the game, seeing Tyler Gibson get warmed up, as it looks as it appeared that he might be ready for today's game, which he did play. So that was good to see. Matt, these Red Wolves played a very tough match with Louisville City on Wednesday. Who'd you like out there, and what'd you see out of City, and how does it look going forward in the U.S. Open Cup?
I thought Carlos Mogul played a very good game on Wednesday. I thought that his, particularly his service on set pieces, was pretty good. The story for me that I guess started to develop very early on in the first half is like our finishing. Right, we did really well to create a lot of chances within. The first 5 minutes, really, when we started to settle down a little bit. We created from a number of different avenues. Right, we played the long ball really well. We built up really well. We played wide really well. Again, Carlos Mogul, really good service on set pieces. We just weren't finishing the job. And it's a shame because I feel like if that first goal sort of goes in early, that changes the tenor of the game and the floodgates kind of open. Because the Wolves couldn't stop really anything that we were doing when it came to creating chances. And the Wolves played a good game still. So,
yeah, they were very, very competitive. And you
Kept
probably
it going.
saw, and you kind of spoke about this on moments ago on the highlights there. We had a lot of corners, a lot of opportunities created that they stepped up and played some very solid defense. Glenn, I'm not going to skip ahead and talk about the next round of the Open Cup, but just kind of talk about strategy overall. We have a pretty demanding schedule coming up, and there's got to be some people getting some rest, things of that nature. What do you see happening with Louisville City in this U.S. Open Cup?
Well, I think it's going to be difficult to rest players, especially coming up. You're going to play much stiffer competition, right? So you're going to need to start your starters. So, and we have a pretty tough league schedule coming up too, right? We're playing teams that are ranked 1 or 2 in the in their division right now coming up here in the league, and then we're going to have a tough game against St. Louis, which we'll get to. So it's going to be difficult to rotate, but I feel like we have some decent players that we'll be able to start. that definitely showed it off in our first Open Cup match. I feel like these Open Cup matches always start the same way. The first 5 or 10 minutes, the teams are kind of feeling each other out to see, where they're going to be able to create chances and how they're going to be able to move the ball around against each other. So I feel like St. Louis may be a different matchup for us. We can get to that later. But, against the Red Wolves, we definitely took a few minutes to get in and settle into our game. And once we did, I thought, like Matt said, we created chances like crazy. And we moved that ball, and we figured out how we were able to get it up the wings and get it in, and then long balls. I mean, we were basically creating chances every possible way you could, and looked amazing. I was a little disappointed with the finish. I mean, we took 15 shots, only 4 on target. Not great. And only scored 1 goal. I feel like could have scored 4 or 5 goals on the night if we just had that clinical finish. So hopefully going further and deeper into the tournament, we'll be able to finish those opportunities and score some goals and make the games maybe a little less competitive and a little more comfortable for us to watch as fans.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one thing that's interesting. You always look at these other teams that we're playing, and even the announcers tonight on the Loudoun broadcast were talking about teams gelling and Loudoun needing to settle in, a lot of young players. Louisville City, we're all at the same point in the season. We haven't really necessarily seen this team's going to get even better than they're playing right now. Matt, when you look at this continuation of the Open Cup and what you saw out there on Wednesday, the hustle, all 90, the quality of play from City has just been outstanding.
Oh, absolutely. Playing all 90 minutes. And again, I know we've harped on it. I know pretty much everybody that has watched this team has harped on the fact that we kind of let it come back a little bit deep into the first and second halves towards the end of the game, let up a lot of goals. But I think that was I think Cruz puts a lot of emphasis on that in the offseason and in training, not resting and going full board for 90 minutes. And it really has paid off. We've shored up that ship well, I think.
Yeah. I
agree.
Totally agree with you. Go ahead, Glenn.
I was going to say, I agree with Matt. I feel like we're continuing the attack, right?
Yeah,
I feel like last season we definitely tried to absorb pressure. And I mean, the game that I was most evident in is the Tampa game at the end of the season, right? We tried to hold on to that lead for, almost 50 minutes, and it just didn't work out very well for us in the end. And most of the season we had issues with that, where we just weren't closing it out. We weren't continuing to apply pressure. And I think that even when you're ahead, if you continue to press, you're going to either score some more goals or at least keep the ball in your own end, so it's not constantly being shot at your keeper and relying on your keeper to save it all the time. Although I feel like Morton in the back now, we have a really strong keeper as well. So I feel like that was another, I mean, I'm not saying that Hubbard wasn't a great keeper or Parker Siegfried isn't great, but Morton's a whole another level, right? Like
absolutely.
Yeah, he's
been
like
he's the second best anxiety medication that I take day in and day out. He makes the saves he's supposed to. It's really, really fun to watch.
Yep. The salt of the earth, Kyle Morton has
salt
been
of the earth
on fire for City. It's great to have him as that goalkeeper for City this season. And some teams out there wish they would have had a better goalkeeper over the last couple of weeks in the U.S. Open Cup, as there were many what is commonly referred to as cup sets, where lower ranked teams, lower expected teams to expected to maybe not play as well have come out victorious. Glenn, cup sets is an interesting phrase. It's fun to say. So everybody say it together. Ready? Cup sets.
Cup sets.
Well, I like it.
So that shows you the amount of lag. That's why we talk over each other sometimes. Sorry.
Cup sets?
Cup sets. Oh,
Cup sets. Okay. So Glenn, cup sets. What makes a cup set? Do you feel like these are really cup sets? I mean, these are quality soccer clubs, right?
Right, and I feel like that the competition level is a lot closer than it once was, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like anytime you get eliminated, it's a cup set, right? Like, we're going to be disappointed when we leave the tournament, I'm sure. Hopefully it doesn't happen for many, many rounds, but, I think everyone's really disappointed. But a cup set is when the lower level team, right, like somebody from the NISA or USL2 beats a championship team, right? USL Championship or a team above them. Some of the bigger ones were Chattanooga FC, the other Chattanooga. They beat Memphis 901.
The real
3-1.
Chattanooga.
The real Chattanooga. There's also the Greenville Triumph SC beat Oakland Roots 2-0. There are several other cup sets out there. There's a few more. Las Vegas Lights got knocked out of the tournament, as well as
Las Vegas was sort of an upcoming team in the West too. They've been playing pretty well out there.
So on the topic of all these cup sets, Glenn, what was the biggest cup set of the second round in your opinion? Biggest upset, cup set.
The biggest? I mean,
in your
mind, it's got to be Indy 11 losing to St. Louis 2, right? City 2.
Okay, Matt,
is that not the biggest one for everybody else?
Well, we'll see. We'll go around. Matt, what's yours?
I'm going to go with, and this is purely because some of our guys were in the lineup when this happened. I'm going to go with Northern Colorado Hailstorm. Their 1-0 victory over Colorado Springs. In extra time, Danny Fondes started in goal, and Owen Dom came on in relief during the second half.
After they had a red card.
After a red card.
Yes, that is.
And Colorado was no pushover.
That is the correct answer. Yes, I was going to say Colorado Springs. At the time of that game, I'm pretty sure we're at the top of the table. They are no longer at the top of the table. That belongs to a team we'll see next Saturday. We'll talk about later. But Matt, I'll kind of ask you the same question on these cup sets. Do you think the quality of play, as Glenn said, is strong enough now in the United States soccer scene that these are truly not really all that shocking?
They're not all that shocking, but they're still upsets. I mean, there are still teams that you're supposed to beat. I don't know. I have the full list of all of these cup sets in front of me, and it's pretty long. It's pretty substantial. I don't know how you could read this and not be an advocate for promotion and relegation, at least within the USL. That's what we can kind of control, right? The USL. I know MLS is probably never going to get there, but promotion and relegation will work, and it's going to be fun to watch once it gets implemented. And I think the U.S. Open Cup really shows that. Mm-hmm. It really demonstrates that.
Yeah, I believe so too. Glenn, any thoughts on that?
Oh, I absolutely agree. I think that the competition level, especially USL, within the USL from League 2 to 1 to Championship, there's definitely, the upper level League 2 teams are definitely as strong as, lower level USL 1 and then USL 1 to Championship. So I feel like we're absolutely making a case with this competition that you can absolutely have. I mean, you have teams from NISA USL 2. You have teams from NPSL moving on that they're going to face MLS teams in the next round. I mean, how crazy is that?
NPSL teams are semi-pro. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not even full-time, soccer players. So,
yep, it's very entertaining and it's fun to follow. It's been set up lots of different groupings. The draw being last Friday. We'll talk about more of that in the second half of action today. But for now, we're going to move on to our fourth topic, friends and friendlies. So we kind of hinted on this just a little bit.
Not the ice cream shop, right?
Not the ice cream shop, no. But, Matt, we got to see some Louisville City players out on loan. Some folks from the academy playing around this U.S. Open Cup. Who impressed you the most out there in soccer land?
Emily Fox got her 7th consecutive start on the back line for the national team, which is phenomenal. She's the only player to appear in every match since the October 2021 FIFA window. So she's a go-to player for Andonovski squad, right? I mean, she's firmly entrenched within that team at this point. That game was a bloodbath, man.
Ooh, yeah, it was. But it's really
like Wheeler Yuta versus John Moxley. That was a bloodbath.
It sure was. And no one wrote BCC on their chest and blood afterwards, though. So it's a little disappointing.
That we know of.
But that was I would have to say it was kind of enjoyable to watch, though, because it felt like the team really played well and they had great vision of the field and just everyone really played like they knew their position. They knew what they were supposed to do. They knew where to be. And like that team plays really well together. Like we're on our way to another, I feel like, not seeing many other teams play internationally yet, but man, I feel like we're on our way to another World Cup, right? Like that team looked
And that's
amazing.
a hot take, Glenn.
I mean, we just keep
there were-
reloading, right? Like,
Yeah.
we keep having new talented players come in. I mean, and there were people that you wouldn't expected to score as many goals as they did. I mean, Jalen Howe had her first international goal in the 64th
Yeah.
minute, right? Like,
Hell yeah.
that's amazing.
That is amazing. I'm going to go ahead and do this, though, just because we're on our way to another World Cup, the women. I cannot believe it. Matt, I guess I misunderstood the topic. I was kind of referring to the Louisville City players that were in the U.S. Open Cup, other teams and all that's been going on. But we talked about the United States women's national team, which is fine. Okay, but I'll switch it back.
Called friends and friendlies, John. What?
Well,
There was only one friendly on the weekend.
Well, I didn't get the name of this topic. Glenn keeps coming up with these format names. Nobody knows what the hell they mean. I don't know. All right. So,
I'm glad he got a red for your mistake, honestly. That's really fun for me. I like
well,
that
yeah,
a lot.
yeah, absolutely. Yes. So that game was fun, wasn't it? 9-1, and we
Yeah.
played them again. More misery on the way. Where's that next game? It's not.
I
That
believe
was
it's
like
in Pennsylvania.
okay. So that was in Columbus.
Westchester, maybe. Glenn probably knows, but he's on a red, so he can't talk.
I think he's back. Yeah, that was in Columbus the other
Oh.
night.
Correct.
It was in
Yes.
Columbus the other night.
We did have
I
some-
have one note on the venue here. It looks like it says "fuck Ohio." Yeah, that's the note I have for that venue.
That's what
yeah.
it said.
I did.
I will not give you a
have
red
fuck
for
Ohio
that
in my notes.
based on the state. Any closing thoughts on anything that we were just talking about, Glenn? The women's.
Wait, we didn't get to Ebony Salmon played for the U23s in England.
Oh,
we didn't-
yes.
And she was the captain of the team. And she
I
played
know you're
60
playing-
minutes, so
Capitan.
Yeah.
there's not much information other than that I was able to see. I wasn't able to watch the game, so I can't tell you
believe it.
how her performance was. But it's a little disappointing that we can't find more information on those games. It'd be nice to have some place where, someone would get us some information, maybe, possession stats and, shots and things like that, passes maybe. I think we had another player, right? Alex, I'm going to say his name wrong, I'm sure. Chidiak, she played in Australia. Or she didn't play, actually. She was on the bench. She did make the 18, but she didn't get to play in the game. And they did win 2-1 over New Zealand. So, and they both teams have the Netherlands plays England again on the 11th on Monday, and New Zealand plays on the 12th against Australia again. So there's a couple more
Crikey.
friendlies that will have racing players involved.
Yeah, that's very exciting. They represented the city of Louisville very well, and
Mm-hmm. Hats
know,
off to him.
absolutely very exciting. Very exciting to see Jalen Howe and scoring her first career international goal, and very nice goal as well. Not just not a standard shot by any means.
She
Oh, no,
arched
that's-
that over the keeper. That
yeah.
was really good
It was
too,
a
right? That was almost
good little
Ownby-esque,
flick.
right?
Ownby-esque.
Ownby-esque.
Maybe
I
Ownby
think
was
Ownby's goal was
Howless.
Howell-esque.
That's still my material. All right.
Wait, how am I still on a yellow?
Well, you're just
I'm petitioning
permanently
the
on a
league.
yellow. I'll take it off. Okay. There we go. The button was lit up. I didn't notice. There we go. All right. So anything else on the friends of friendlies? Any friendly other things you want to talk about?
I'm really confused that you didn't understand that friends and friendlies meant that the international players were playing in international friendlies. I thought that was a pretty obvious topic name, so I will try harder to make them more obvious in the future for you.
Thank you.
And so if
Yes.
there's any really bad pun, it's
How?
definitely my fault.
How's it going to get more obvious?
I told you guys I'm just
Not-
the button pusher. All right. All right.
Do a damn
Well,
good job of it, too.
yes, thank you very much. 30 down and 30 more to go, as that unnamed Fox commentator says. Some people might get that. We are going to go
Not
to
me.
Me
halftime.
neither.
We're going to go to halftime. This thing's way off the rails. We'll see you soon for halftime, and we'll see you soon for the second half. Bye-bye. Halftime, hug time.
I'm Glenn Grum, and you are listening to 24-Hour Purple People. And now, a word from our sponsors.
Hang on a second, Beardo. You're not going to walk out of the house looking like that, are you?
What am I supposed to do?
Introducing Ownby brand beard balm. One dollop of our made in the USA scruff gravy can transform your hell no tea into a go tea in seconds. Made from our proprietary blend of 11 herbs, spices, pulps, mashes, animal tallows, stamens, tree milks, shells, and a hint of apple cores for a pleasing and saucy aroma, Ownby brand beard balm will have your stubble in playoff form all year round.
From the hills of fair Virginia to the wings of B-Town's pitch, reach for Ownby brand beard balm.
Ownby brand beard balm.
When your whiskers start to itch.
Available wherever fine made-up products are sold. Not endorsed by any soccer players, real or fictional, so please don't tell him.
We are back. Second half action is about to start. As my panelists been pretty nice and pretty decent. Not too many yellows or reds. Not as many yellows as your standard Louisville City game, at least. So, gentlemen, are you ready
John must
for
not
some
work for
second
Pro
half
Refs.
action? Yeah, I know.
He's not certified.
I'm rooting on a red to start out with.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep, you were on a red to start out with. Haha. No, I wouldn't do that to you, Glenn. Wouldn't do that to you.
Petitioning the
I
league for that one.
applaud your refereeing, Glenn. I think you're doing a great job.
So,
Wait, me? I'm not refereeing. John's refereeing.
Not you.
more or less. So, speaking of refs and things like that, we are all set for a big away match out on the West Coast coming up this Saturday. And when I say big, you have a battle of two teams that are at the tops of the table. East versus West, Goliath versus Goliath, whatever you want to say. We are heading to San Diego against the Loyalty next Saturday against Landon Donovan's squad that's had quite the start to the season. Glenn, when you look at the Loyalty, a lot of dangerous players. Anybody in particular that Louisville City really needs to be looking out for next Saturday?
Kyle Vassell, for sure. He's sitting on 4 goals for the season so far. I think he has 2 in league play and 2 more maybe in Open Cup play. I'm not positive because the USL stats are very slow to update with each match that's played, I've noticed. But he definitely is somebody to watch out with. They also have Thomas Among and Tumi Mashabane up top, both with 2 goals as well. And then you have Nick Moon, Thomas Among, and Tumi Mashabane as well with 2 assists each. So they definitely have quite a potent attack. I mean, they're scoring goals. They've only lost 1 match this season, and it was on the road to Tulsa, 1-0. So, and they have 14 goals scored on the season. They're averaging 2.33 goals per match, which I don't know if you realize this. We're giving up less than a goal a match. So this is going to be like a good matchup, I feel. It's definitely 2 teams, an offensive powerhouse versus the defensive powerhouse, right? So it should be an interesting match to see. It's going to be interesting to see how we play on the West Coast, right? We haven't played a lot of games out there, have we?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
Yeah. Matt, when you
10
look
p.m.
at
kick
this,
too, right?
when you look at this Loyalty team, last time we played them, I believe Landon Donovan got that red card at Lynn Family Stadium. This is a team that seems to be playing really well to start the season, just like Louisville City. Who do you see on San Diego when you look out for, and what is Louisville City's strategy out west?
So, as Glenn mentioned, while we do have to deal with a cross-country road trip and a 10 p.m. start, San Diego also has a short week. They have to travel down the road to Oakland to play the Roots on Wednesday. Also, they play LA Galaxy 3 days after that match, after the match against us on a Tuesday. But the Loyal, just in general, are offensive powerhouses. I have that written down verbatim, and Glenn stole that from me. He reached in my brain and stole it. But they're second in the West with 10 total goals from 51 shots, and they have a West best 24% conversion rate. That is one of the only statistical categories that we're not doing well in. We have an 11% conversion rate, and to sort of put that in layman's terms, we have one more shot on target than they do, but they have 8 more goals, so they're putting their chances away. They're really they're putting them in the back of the net. but they have not faced team defending like ours, right? All the teams they've played so far are in the bottom half of the league when it comes to goals conceded, while we've only given up one all year. We lead the league in that. I feel like this game is going to have a lot of pace to it. I feel like City has shown really good form in getting back and gathering themselves in transition, and we'll need to continue that here. It'll also be really important for us to take advantage of any missteps that they make. San Diego's really careful with the ball. They exhibit one of the league's best passing accuracies, and our press should force them into some mistakes, so we need to be ready to take advantage of those.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Glenn, the Loyal are, very
Loyal.
They're loyal. They're very loyal.
With
They're,
cheese?
Yeah.
Loyal with cheese, my friend.
They're very loyal to Landon. He's got this team looking pretty good, sitting on top of the table out west. Of course, there's some pretty decent teams out there, and we, as you kind of alluded to, we haven't played out west all that often, especially in the COVID years and all that. A brutal schedule, lots of flying around the nation for City coming up. How does that affect the team?
I mean, I know how flying around the nation affects me and the jet lag I get. I'm not sure how that works with a well-trained athlete who, is they take very good care of their body and
Are you
probably
not a
go through
well-trained
these
athlete?
beers. No, I'm not a well-trained anything, really.
Could have fooled me.
So, I mean, it's got to be difficult, right? You got a 3-hour time difference, and you're coming back to play the best team in the league. So, I mean, or the second best team, I guess, in our division. So you got a lot riding on this, and you definitely need to play well and have a good performance. I do feel like, I mean, defensively, we're playing amazing. I will say they look like a really well-disciplined team. They have 0 red cards on the season, only 14 yellows, or 15 yellows, sorry. So they're a very well-disciplined team. So we're definitely going to have to try our press and try to get them off the ball and see if we can't work some of our magic with maybe Ownby and Harris and score some early goals and maybe keep up that pressure and see if we can't steal 3 points on the road. I feel like, though, with this match, a point in San Diego is almost a win as long as we don't concede many goals.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, especially with this travel schedule coming up, it's going to be pretty tough. Of course, they have a pretty tough road over the next couple of weeks. I believe they play. They're in the Open Cup as well. I think they're playing the Galaxy, if I'm not mistaken.
One of us mentioned that. I can't remember who.
Yeah, I can't remember who mentioned that. I think somebody did mention that.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to what you guys are saying, really.
And it shows.
Matt, I gave you a yellow for being a meanie to Glenn and calling him a non-athlete. He does have the gift of gab. So
Sure does.
Yeah.
Is that an athletic skill?
I think
It works.
so.
Yeah, you work your mouth, man. You got to be athletic to do that.
I don't have the gift of memory, as you can tell, but I do.
Or attention.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was just trying to think of all these other things that I'm fixing to say or whatever. All right. Any closing thoughts on the Loyal? Matt, I'll
I
start
think
with you.
Glenn. Oh, well.
Oh,
I
You're
think
Matt.
oh,
Glenn.
here we go. Yep. Both of you.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Yep, you muted. I get to sing. All right. I've been waiting for this moment. What do you guys want to hear? Tell me in the live chat what song. We've only got like a minute, less than a minute. Thank you all for joining the live chat today. Glenn's texting. Let's see what else. I'll take Matt off the yellow. Okay, fine.
How did I get a straight red? I didn't even do anything wrong.
I know what you did.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm gonna write another email that no one will respond to the league office here and try to get this red overturned.
Send it to me, buddy. I'll respond. Oh, yeah.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed, guys.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst. You never want to hear that. Like, I'd
Yeah.
rather you be mad than disappointed.
Especially from your dad, John. Papa John.
Oh, Fat Bottom
But
Girls. Oh, Adele. Oh,
Ooh.
she's got that one
Rolling in
song.
the deep. Come on.
Goodbye.
Hello.
Oh, I thought it was Goodbye.
Is it? I thought it was hello. Is it not? Hello?
Give yourself a red. Come on.
Yeah, John gets a red.
Never. Okay, we're gonna move on to another topic. Enough time wasting. I'm gonna get a yellow. Deep dish rematch. Now this topic I do understand. I understand pizza. So racing Challenge Cup right now, of course, international break going on. So racing not in action this weekend, but next weekend, Lynn Family Stadium, April 16th, we host the Chicago Red Stars, a team that we faced earlier on a couple Wednesdays back, and we played really well. That was kind of the start of some really positive momentum that led us to Kansas City for a win. When you take a look at this Red Stars team, Glenn, which we looked at them not too long ago, who we got to look out for out there, and what do you see happening with the Red Stars?
Mallory Pugh. That's who we have to look out for, right? I mean, she scored, I think it's 4 of their 6 goals they've scored in Cup play. And the last match they played, they held the dash to 7 shots with 1 on target and possessed the ball for 57% of possession. That is crazy. Like, we're going to have to take advantage of the opportunities they are going to give us, and we're going to have to make sure we do it well and convert any chance that we get. I feel like this is a very important game because they're sitting on 7 points at the top of the table with a goal diff of 3, and we are currently sitting at 5 points. Mm-hmm. So, and a goal diff of 2. So we need to win this match if we really want to try and move on in this tournament. And I feel like it's a winnable game. I think that we were able to hold them in Chicago to a 0-0 draw. And I think we played very well. I think if we play like we did against Kansas City, we can definitely secure the home victory. I think it'll be great for the fans and everybody if we're able to get that win and move on and possibly, with the dash as our last game, we could possibly see a result from this tournament, possibly get to play deeper in the cup and maybe go further than anyone expected, right? I mean,
yeah.
The expectations weren't very high at the beginning of this preseason tournament.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It would be very nice to get that win at home in the Challenge Cup. Matt, when you look at this game with Chicago, a team that we're starting to kind of build a bit of a rivalry. I know we kind of talked a little bit about that in some previous episodes. Who we got to look out for from the Red Stars?
Well, it's definitely Mal Pugh. I mean, if you watch the U.S. women's game, the national team, I mean, she's a killer, man. I mean, Glenn had all the good stats, but she's good. She's a killer. We're only 2 points behind them in a very crowded field in our group, right? So it's still wide open, right? We've got these last 2 rounds to really determine who's going to go on to the knockout. Portland and the Reign look to have sort of the inside track, it seems like, and moving on from the second place position because they both have 7 points. I just want to continue to kind of figure ourselves out as we add some new pieces to the squad. And Alex Chidiak, who again, I probably pronounced that wrong. We played Chicago well last match, and then we really opened it up against Kansas City and showed what we can do in the open field. And it really feels like we've got some good momentum going forward and hopefully some well-deserved confidence that we can use to pick up a big win. We're not personnel-wise, we might be very similar to the team that we were when we played Chicago the first time, but I think mentality-wise, I think we're a much different team now.
Yeah, Pugh looked outstanding in that international friendly. I just thought
friends and friendlies.
I'd point that out. I'd point that out. So, we just talked about it, but not only to get the win in front of the home fans, but to kind of show, hey, that game in Kansas City was not a fluke. This team has turned a page, and we have taken it to a new level. I know Coach Kim is teaching that and pushing that message to racing. Glenn, any closing thoughts on this game coming up in the Challenge Cup? Another crucial match, as you hinted on, just a small separation of points in this group.
It's a very important match. If you can be there, make some noise, get loud, and cheer our team on. I agree with John. I think this is definitely a growing rivalry with the Red Stars. I think that's awesome to see. They haven't even beat us yet, right? Like we beat them already. We've had 2 draws in all of the competitions we've played against each other. So it definitely is building, even though we may not finish the same position or close to them in the table, we definitely are showing that we are a difficult team for them to compete against. And I think that I look forward to the rivalry building. But I guess we're going to talk about rivalries later on in the broadcast here, so I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah, absolutely.
John went to sleep, I think.
Yeah, I did go to sleep. No, my one of my things here went to sleep. Okay, yes. I'm excited about that game next Saturday. Hopefully we get some nice weather. I've not looked at the forecast, but it would be nice to play into.
I'm not gonna. I don't want to jinx it.
Some,
don't.
Better weather here in Louisville would be nice, but that is okay. All right, moving on. So we had our big Open Cup draw last Friday, and Louisville City ended up in a bracket called North. So,
noted
That makes
Northern
total
City,
sense.
Louisville, Kentucky.
right.
I've heard Southern and Midwestern. I've never heard anyone say North ever.
We're as far
That's
north
the
as you
first
can
time I
get, baby.
heard.
We're right on that Canadian border. That's us.
Yeah, some competitive,
We're a booted-
definitely some competitive teams in this grouping. Glenn, when you look at some of the games in this grouping and any other groupings in the Open Cup third round coming up, what are you most excited for other than obviously our match with St. Louis NXT?
Oh man! So Cincinnati is playing Pittsburgh, right? That's a pretty in Cincinnati, and then you also have Detroit, which is in the Central, which is probably where we should have been. I'm just saying maybe that would have made more sense because also in the Central is Detroit, who is playing Columbus, another interesting game, and that game's going to actually take place at Keyworth. That was the most exciting for me. I think my second most exciting bracket was Florida because you have Miami FC hosting Inter Miami, a game that will actually be played in Miami. And then you have Orlando City playing Tampa Bay Rowdies as well in Kissimmee.
Fun note, yes, in Kissimmee at some baseball stadium converted into a soccer stadium when you have a world-class facility that Orlando City plays in. Whatever.
That seats too many people, though. You want to make it an intimate gathering.
They got to use the
indie
Harper. You got to use the Harper tarps. That's what you got to use. Cover those empty
Tarpers.
seats up.
Harper tarps.
The Tarpers, yes. Matt, these groups are interesting. They have interesting names. The geographic locations are sometimes a bit confusing, but which one are you most excited about as far as the actual game?
So Glenn highlighted literally every match that I was going to talk about. So instead, I'm just going to bullshit a little bit. We're kind of used to this, right? Louisville, the Cardinals play in the Atlantic Coast Conference. We're nowhere near the Atlantic Coast. This happens to us frequently. So though it doesn't make sense, it's not all that uncommon, right? We're a city that doesn't know who it is a lot of the time anyway, right? Are we in the South? Are we in the North? Are we in the Midwest? Are we St. Louis? Are we Nashville?
I've never heard the North in the argument before, though.
Who knows? Yeah,
Until
that's a new one for me as a lifelong Louisvillian. But for me, I think Tampa and Orlando City is probably going to be my number one to look at. That going right over the I-4. But Pitt looks really good this year, man. They look like killers, and I'd love to see them. Anytime I can watch Cincinnati lose, it's good. It's a good day for me.
No, absolutely.
So
was
Pitt
the one.
can dismantle those stupid Lions, then I would be pleased as punch.
Yeah, that was definitely the one that I circled. Very intriguing matchup, and two teams that do have a history from the USL. So,
and if you're in it, look, if you're thinking, can Pro World work between MLS and USL? Well, here's a good little example, right? Pitt is towards the top of their division, our conference, and Cincinnati is, I don't know if they'd be in the MLS relegation zone necessarily. I think they're fourth from the bottom, but they're typically a team that sucks shit. So they're usually near the bottom.
Glenn,
that's a sports term, by the way.
Yes,
suck shit.
Yeah. Glenn, let me kind of ask you about these games. We talked a little bit about some smaller clubs, these cup sets. When you look at these matchups throughout the U.S. Open Cup, what games are you thinking that could end in another cup set, or are there any intriguing matchups between some lower level seeds and higher base seeds that you're most interested in?
So it's going to be interesting. There's Flower City Union is playing DC United, which is a NISA team against a MLS team. So you got that. You also have Hartford Athletic is playing New York Red Bulls, which is a USL Championship versus an MLS team. Obviously, Matt went over. I mean, Pittsburgh beating Cincinnati. I'd love to see that. Like that'd be amazing, because they suck shit, as Matt said. Professional
They sure
sports term,
do.
by the way. All the sports shows use that term. When they
Bob
talk
Costa
about
says that
Cincinnati.
constantly. Yeah.
All the time. He's like, they're out there sucking shit.
Great Bob Costas impression.
Okay.
I tried.
Continue.
I've been practicing for hours. So in the Inter Miami game should be a decent game. Miami's a very talented squad, as well as Tampa Bay, Orlando City. So there's a lot of good matches, and then you also have in our North bracket, you have Chicago Fire playing Union Omaha, which is USL League One, and then you also have a USL League One Forward Madison hosting the Minnesota United. So there's going to be some interesting matchups. It'll be interesting to see who moves on and how this all plays out. And if there are more cup sets. There were quite a few in the first round. So
The
you never
Minnesota
know.
United. San Antonio hosting
Looms.
Austin. Yeah, the mighty Looms. San Antonio hosting Austin is another one I think is kind of an interesting one as well.
Blue City Lonies will be seeing the Northern Colorado Hailstorm taking on Real Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also on April 20th on 420, bro.
Yeah, 420 in Colorado? Or is
Oh,
it
man,
in
that sounds
Utah?
fun.
No, it's in
It's in
Sandy,
Utah.
Utah. where fun
Sandy, Utah.
isn't allowed.
Oh,
Their
well.
beer's even like a lower level, right? Like they can't have a full alcohol beer. They don't really like fun there at all.
It's a beautiful place, though.
It is nice.
Any closing thoughts on the Open Cup, any of these groupings? What was your favorite grouping name? Because they're not all just geographic. There's one that's well, there was one. What, name the groups, Glenn. I'll put you on the spot. How does it feel?
So you have Northeast, Piedmont, Southeast, Florida, Central, North, Texas, Mountain,
Texas.
Northern California, and Southern California.
Where's
Did you say
Pied-
Piedmont?
where's
Yeah,
Piedmont?
Piedmont.
Maybe that's
Piedmont
the one that
is-
would confuse me.
It's like the Carolina teams and the Virginia team.
Hope says that her workplace says that Louisville is a central location.
Oh, we're centrally located, Louisville. I like that. Sounds very professional.
Midwestern, right? Like Midwest, kind of central.
No. Centrally located.
We've got that northern intelligence and southern charm.
So we should have been in the central is what she's trying to say, I think. Which I totally agree with her. So
Yeah,
I mean,
obviously.
right? They could have moved Detroit over to the north because Detroit's further north than us, right? Like they are way
Yeah,
above us, right?
absolutely.
You have to go north on 65 to get to Detroit.
Indy,
right? Like,
Cincinnati, all of them are north of us. Yeah, none of that makes sense.
Of all your geographic takes, that is the best one. You have to take 65 north to get to Detroit from Louisville. Thank you, Glenn.
you're very welcome. I aim to please.
He can tell you from experience.
I can actually.
I mean, yeah. No, it's whatever. I think they should name them something fun, like fun names,
Like Piedmont.
like Piedmont,
Like Piedmont.
for example.
We
Something
should probably
made up
Google what a
that
Piedmont
doesn't make
is.
sense.
Piedmont probably means something that we don't understand, so we're probably like lunching on something that means something important. Like
You think the Piedmont residents are going to storm our houses or something?
It could happen.
they might.
man.
You never know.
You said it was a Virginia
So-
team. Well, Virginians, they've seceded before and attacked their own people. So the Army of Northern Virginia.
So there is actually the Piedmont is a plateau region of the eastern United States, situated between the Atlantic coastal plain and the Appalachian Mountains.
That'll be
So,
similar
there
to
you go.
calling it the Appalachian region, right? The Appalachian region.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's closer to the shore, right? It's in between the shore and the Appalachian, right? Like so it's
Sure.
in between the
Is
coasts.
that where Fair, Virginia is?
I think so. I think Fair,
Yep,
Virginia
yep.
is in Piedmont.
Yep,
It's-
and right
it's
in the
absolutely
right in the Piedmont. Center
Right
of
in
the
that
Piedmont.
Piedmont.
Centrally located in the Piedmont.
In the Piedmont.
Sorry.
We need some geography lessons, I think. I feel like we spend too much time on soccer. Maybe we need to learn some
You
geography.
don't. You're an excellent
Yeah.
geography. You're a living Google Maps, Glenn. Okay.
Like Meriwether
I was
Lewis
just
in this
using
bitch.
Google Maps.
I'm gonna move on. Rules of rivalry. Now, this is a fun topic. I can't wait to sink our collective teeth into. So, we are playing St. Louis NXT, as we know, at Lynn Family Stadium on April the 20th. And that'll be the return of John Hackworth to Lynn Family Stadium. A lot of people, when they saw that, were excited to see us play St. Louis again because it's the King's Cup. Or is it? Glenn, I'll start with you.
Oh man. So I think that there's a lot of different things that make a rivalry, right? Like there's like you could be in-city rivals, in-state rivals. You can be, proximity rivals, like maybe like in Indianapolis. But I feel like when the St. Louis team went away, the rivalry between the teams probably changed a little bit, right? Because the USL team didn't become the MLS team, correct? Like, and everything I've seen, the MLS team is a brand new organization, right? It's not the USL team. It's not like Cincinnati, where Cincinnati moved, where they got promoted, I think they called it. But anyway, they didn't become, USL St. Louis FC did not become the St. Louis City team that we are currently going to play. So I feel like part of the rivalry probably died there. I understand that there are people that would argue that the rivalry is technically between the supporters groups. And so the rivalry is made up, the Lewigans versus the Coopers, right? Like it's basically what some of the people are saying. So I could see that would still be a rivalry of sorts. But as far as the rivalry on the field goes, I would say there's a pretty big rivalry between Coach Hackworth and Danny Cruz, who have worked together quite a bit, right? It's kind of like a master and student kind of relationship, right? Like, because Danny worked for Hackworth. And so this is his chance to prove that he gained some knowledge and now he is becoming the master, right? So
in this scenario, Hackworth is Darth Vader. I just want to make that clear.
Absolutely. I mean, right? Darth Vader gets fired from the Jedi Temple and has to go work for the dark side.
With cause, he was fired from the temple. Absolutely.
Well, that even makes that Star Wars theme when they play at Lynn Family Stadium for the away clubs. So that's going to make it even more sweet. Matt, I won't ask you just as bluntly about the King's Cup, but I will ask, what exactly makes a rival and what makes a rivalry end? If it's not currently going, what makes that rivalry die? Is the King Cup dead? Is it dead?
Well, in this case, what made this rivalry die was MLS. I mean, that's precisely why St. Louis FC, SAINT, St. Louis, right? That's why they went out of business, right? Did they convert themselves over to the next pro squad? Is that what they are now, or is that a new entity in and of itself? I don't know.
It's a new entity.
That seems brand new.
Part of the St. Louis City FC, right? Like they're part of.
Yeah.
Isn't that how NXT works? Is you're part of the you're two team basically.
Yeah. So when St. Louis SAINT ceased to be a team, for me, that's when the rivalry's over. And I know it's a divisive opinion, and I know that a lot of people have put a lot of have put a lot of time and effort into creating this and maintaining this rivalry between us and
Tifos.
St. Louis, particularly, Tifos. We all got on our bellies and painted Tifos to support this rivalry. It was really fun, and I miss it too, guys. I really do. I really wish that it could have continued, but to me, this ain't it. I mean, it's not the same.
So, Matt, can I ask you, would you consider
Please.
the rivalry with Cincinnati still alive? Because Cincinnati, right, the USL team became the MLS team, right?
Yeah, that's the same team to me.
Yeah, I feel the same way about that rivalry. I feel like that is definitely still alive, and every time we play them,
It sure seemed like it when.
Yeah,
I know you and I traveled up to Cincinnati during the Open Cup a couple of years ago, right? It sure seemed like that was a real rivalry to me. So
sure did.
I'm going to argue that the King's Cup, while it might not be what it once was, I do believe that because of those supporter groups who have migrated to these new teams, I know that if the shoe was on the other foot, okay, and that would have happened to us in Louisville, more than likely we would have done the same and migrated, we might have still wanted this rivalry to continue in some form or fashion. So in that aspect, I believe it's still exciting and it's still a worthy, not too much distance between these cities. We have two kings, two King Louis, and 9th and 14th. A lot of different things like that, but maybe not what it once was, not in the same way. Glenn?
I think that rivalries are built on different things for different rivalries, right? Like, I feel like the Chicago rivalry with racing is growing, right? Like, that is becoming a thing. Like, they haven't been able to beat us yet, and I feel like that's becoming something that's probably becoming a rivalry on the field, which will eventually become a rivalry in the stands.
Plus, we talk about it.
I feel like St. Louis, Louisville Coopers, the St. Louis Louisville City rivalry was built in the stands, right? That rivalry came from the Lewigans and the Coopers, right, to start out that rivalry, and that grew from there. And it may not have always been a rivalry on the field, but it was definitely always a rivalry in the stands, and it was always very good-natured. I felt like, for 90 minutes we didn't like each other, but for the time before and after the matches, we were all friends. We drank together. We had a good time. I've had a blast at almost every St. Louis match I went to when we would go to St. Louis. Like, just good times all around, and they were great people. They're still great people, and it's good to see that they are supporting their MLS team now. It'll be good to see them, in cup competitions when we get a chance to play them. We will definitely miss them in the USL, but eventually when we get moved to MLS as well, that rivalry will probably come back a little bit, right? And possibly even play out on the field a little bit more.
I know St. Louis, for their supporters, if they carried on to this new entity, a sour taste in their mouth. Their last memory of Lynn Family Stadium was not so pleasurable as it was the last game for St. Louis in the USL. So they're obviously going to be the ones that travel here are going to be bringing the noise for the Open Cup. I'm going to wrap it up with a little bit of a interesting interesting question. So John Hackworth makes his return to Lynn Family Stadium for the Open Cup.
Boo.
Well, that basically sums up the question. So do you think, what kind of reception, Matt, do you see Coach Hackworth getting? We talked a little bit about Cruz, Hackworth being somewhat of a mentor toward Cruz, but how do you feel the supporters are going to react to a man who helped win a championship here?
So Coach Cruz has already said in interviews that he's admitted that, yes, John Hackworth was a mentor to me, and he learned a lot under him as an assistant here, but also in the very same breath said, I want to beat this guy. I want to beat him, right? Anyway, in terms of in the stands, I think it's going to be sort of a mixed reaction. I can tell you, for me, I appreciate the time he put in here, right? I appreciate that he was at the helm at a difficult time for us, right? Right after the triumvirate. He helped bring a cup here, right? We can't get around that. But if you can quote me on one thing that I'll ever say on this show, it's that if you're not wearing purple, fuck you. And that's my thoughts on John Hackworth.
You only get yellow, since I agree.
I mean, who doesn't agree with that statement, right? I mean,
right.
And by the way, Matt said this to us in the chat a few days ago, and since then I've made sure that I'm wearing purple every day, just to
every
be safe,
single day.
I don't want anybody to be mad at me. So
you don't want any trouble.
I don't want any trouble with Matt, especially.
It's purple on your soul, Glenn. It's not a garment thing. There's no purple on this festive and beautiful shirt. I got purple on my soul though, and on my skin.
Yeah, but do you not have purple underpants or purple socks? I have purple everything, so I make sure I have at least one garment on me that's purple at all times. So that way, it's definitely not fuck you, because I don't want that. So,
Glenn, when I said Coach Hackworth, you booed. Tell me how you feel about Coach coming back to town.
I'm really excited for it. No, I mean, good on him. He got what he thinks is a better career opportunity, and thinks that St. Louis is his next step for him to move on. So, I mean, if that's what he thinks was necessary to forward his career, then whatever. I mean, I definitely have my own opinions about the cup that he won while he was here. I mean, that team was already on their way to the cup. They were a really well put together team with from O'Connor, They played really well with three players as their coach. They were playing fairly well. I mean, I don't know how much Hackworth really changed that system and how much he did to make that team better, to really, call that his cup. I mean, we didn't win a cup since that team, right? And I mean, we were competitive. We had competitive teams, but we didn't win any other cups after that. So, but I mean, I don't know. I guess I do have mixed emotions. I agree with Matt on the, fuck you if you're not wearing purple. I mean, purple
Read
is
him for that language. Come on. Can't do that.
I'm not really. I'm agreeing with that statement, but I'm not really sure. Who are you expecting to not wear purple? The St. Louis supporters?
I'm sure they won't. Yeah.
Well,
they're not going to wear purple.
I don't really expect them to come with Louisville City swag on.
Oh, they should absolutely come. Everyone who's coming to Lynn should be wearing purple. It should be a dress code rule. I think it's actually on the sign out front, right? There's no weapons. You can't bring in outside alcohol or outside food.
Gotta wear purple.
And you have to wear purple. It's right on the board. Like, if you can't read that board, like, it's right there.
We don't make the rules, folks. All right.
We just follow them.
Follow them blindly.
So,
we are rule followers.
So I will summarize this by saying that, I also will have mixed emotions about the situation. I kind of said to you guys in our group chat that we may never know exactly what transpired that led to Coach Hackworth leaving Louisville City.
Another big factor, right?
Yes,
right.
But, and I said this the day that it happened, it was something bad. It might have not been something bad that was in an HR aspect bad. Who knows? Okay. But I don't understand that the opportunity, as I think Glenn alluded to, I just don't get that. I don't see what opportunity are you so you wanted to go from Division II to Division III. I just, that part I don't understand. So I think
he wants to coach the MLS team. Do you not think that's his goal?
Oh, he's certainly that's what he's vying for. Yeah,
he's trying to get back to MLS.
Yeah,
yes,
he
but
wants to get to MLS
back to MLS.
Okay, but you can't go from USL to MLS. You got to go down a notch, then back up. You just want to get in the system. I mean, you go out and you win another cup with the USL squad. You're all of a sudden looking like the top coach in USL, and then maybe that's how you get to the MLS level. I don't know, but story for another day. So mixed emotions. I do appreciate his time here, as Matt said. I appreciate it, but I'm thinking I'm going to boo rather loudly.
Man, that guy on the broadcast for the game today was like, we should all like kiss Hackworth's behind and treat him like he's a god returning. Like, I was really getting annoyed by that, if I'm being honest. Like, I mean, the guy got fired. Like, how many jobs you had where you got fired
with cause?
Back in the door, everyone's like, "Yay, welcome back! You got fired." Like, does that happen somewhere else? Am I missing something? Like, I guess I've worked the wrong jobs. Maybe.
Hey, it's inappropriate conduct guy. Come on back.
right, exactly. I don't get it, but anyway.
Well,
I am appreciative of what he did for us, and the things he did. But I mean, getting fired with cause. I mean, yeah.
No, I agree.
You're not doing something positive. It's not like you're giving out free bunnies or giving hugs. Like, you're doing something pretty bad.
He cared too much.
Cause. Yeah.
Well,
his strengths are also weaknesses.
We have a message here on 24-Hour Purple People for those.
Is it from John Hackworth? For
those St. Louigans out there that might be watching the show. We hope to see you at Lynn Family Stadium, and we hope that you're going to go home with a defeat, and we think that you will on April the 20th. Coming up, 420. It's another round of the Open Cup, the third round in the North Division, featuring Louisville City and St. Louis NXT. Well, gentlemen, that's about all we have for today. Closing thoughts on anything, Matt?
Well, that's another perfect show in the can. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Go City. I don't know.
Glenn, tell us a little bit about other forms of 24-Hour Purple People and any closing thoughts.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, you can check us out, wherever you might find a podcast, like Stitcher, Google, Spotify. So check us out in an audio-only form if you want to miss out on our beautiful faces. which I don't think you do. So you should definitely just watch the YouTube show and then listen again if you need to, if you missed any of the juicy tidbits. I also want to say Go City, and yeah.
Well, I also want to
Fucking right
thank
on.
everybody that was in the chat today. We saw Melissa Potter was in there earlier, and
Whoa!
KH, Hope,
Whoa.
Linda, all sorts of people. Thanks for viewing
Thanks,
our
guys.
episode. We really
Thanks so
appreciate
much.
that. Yes, very much. I also want to
Thank
say,
you,
too, when you see our videos on YouTube, please take a moment, hit that like button. It does help us get seen on
Smash
YouTube. Smash it, if you will. Anything like that does help us get caught in the algorithms. We do appreciate all the support on Twitter and Facebook and the socials. We'll keep pumping out as much content we're currently working on. We have a new sponsor in the loop, so we are currently working on some stuff with that. So a new commercial coming up very soon. And all sorts of excitement down the pipe for 24-hour Purple People. And that about does it for this episode. For Glenn Grum, Matt Dalton, my name is John Harper. We'll see you next time. Keep it Purple, fam. We love you all. Goodbye. This is the part we wave and blow kisses.